speaking of Apple, one of their ex stars, Johnny Ive,
Mm,
OpenAI just purchased his company for $6.5 billion
mhm,
in a groundbreaking deal.
mhm.
So, what do we think about this acquisition?
It further cements the new generation of tech, and I'll say Fang is dead. They're going to have to restructure what the top 5 or 4 is after they go public. Um, I've been calling for them to reconcile with Johnny for the longest time. It was brilliant that they launched this after the Google I/O conference. Um, but there's a lot of clash in Apple's culture that is preventing them from getting some of those former star players back together. And Sam Altman did a great job. I was telling Red Panda maybe for at least 3 months, 4 months that they were going to team up, and here we are. I don't like the idea of that circular pen that they want to put out as a first product. From what I have heard, though, they have built their operating system first, which is brilliant, which tells me they could start to attack this thing eventually. So the first product they put out is incredibly important. But in terms of partnership, my God, like Microsoft, once again, stock of the decade, is going to benefit greatly from this partnership. But
Yes.
you can see the writing on the wall to see where Sam is trying to have his contingency plan to then get away, so he can be the new tech darling in that space. I think brilliant partnership. The trailer was amazing. Whenever I see like 2 white men walk into a bar in San Francisco and they smiling, a lot of money on the table, billions of dollars, multi-billions of dollars. And as people are getting tired of the iPhone, it was a brilliant idea to partner with someone who cares about product a lot when it seemed like Apple doesn't care about it anymore.
All right, let's run down the list of the things that John Ive has helped design or create himself.
Yep.
1998, the iMac. 2001, the iPod. 2007, the iPhone. 2010, the iPad.
Hello.
2008, the MacBook Air and MacBook Pro. 2015, the Apple Watch, and 2013, the redesign of the iOS system.
You probably
So
should have kept that relationship together so he don't go.
yeah, it's one of those. I read an interesting article. They were saying that OpenAI purchasing Next, which is his company, feels like a move that Apple would have done in the past.
Back in the day, yep.
You saw a company that had technology and had infrastructure that you need and could be a competitor, so you went and acquired it. The fact that it came from somebody that was internal in-house and you let it go, it speaks volumes, because there's a lot of talk, especially, I'm reading like gadget.com. The talk is that the gadget economy, the iPad, the iPhone, and the MacBook,
the
at
watches,
this point,
yeah,
that is slowly going to deteriorate and make way for a new form of consumer technology, which will be the artificial intelligence assistant. And so having Johnny Ive there with OpenAI's technology, that first product, I'm interested in seeing what that does to Apple's infrastructure, because
it's going to change the hardware.
Because that's what I'm thinking. Like, what they're basing on, if you're talking about 50% of the revenue is coming from an iPhone. Well, if the iPhone's not a thing that people are using in the next 5 to 10 years, then what's the product?
I've
If
been
the
screaming
MacBook
it.
is not the thing that we're going to be using in terms of how it communicates and how it functions with artificial intelligence, what is the product? Having the guy that helped develop those things with the technology that's going to lead the future is a dangerous proposition for them.
Well, then also for people, because for full context, because they might not even know what the company is. So IO is a hardware and design firm focused on AI integration devices. And like we said, it was acquired by OpenAI for $6.5 billion, and when you do the stock cash considerations. But it was designed to help build consumer-facing AI products with intuitive, screenless, next generation interfaces. So there's an actual picture of it if you want to look on our Instagram. Because we posted about it on Instagram yesterday. So when Troy says the personal AI assistant. That's something that Robert Smith has spoke to us about. And a lot of people have been talking about, like, at some point in time in the near future, everybody's gonna have their own AI assistant that will plan your life. Like, if you want to book a flight, if you want to, go to the movies, you got to pick your son up from school and remind you, you got to, call parent teacher night conference virtually. So this, I guess that'll be the next thing. Now, what we have to see is will this have some level of communication?
I believe so.
If it does, then that could potentially be a threat to and being that he comes from a background of dealing with iPhones, will OpenAI have a communication device which might be the next iteration of what a phone is?
I think that's what I'm alluding to, is that next piece of consumer technology, it will cut into that iPhone lead.
Yeah, and
right? And maybe it's not a phone anymore, right? We don't. That's
it
why
shouldn't be.
That first product is so important.
Yep.
The fact there's part of it, right? And he probably will never admit to it, but them not coming back, right? Them not seeing him as the valuable.
Put a chip on the shoulder.
There's a chip, and the fact that he did it with a company, right? We talked about Apple AI. Has anybody used it? Has it been efficient?
Underwhelming,
right? Look at what ChatGPT is doing on a monthly basis, on a daily basis.
Copilot is getting better. Copilot is better than Apple's intelligence.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft, if Copilot doesn't get better, you still have 50% of this OpenAI company.
For sure.
It was a tough week for Apple. Outside of the 25% tariff, this news happening, it's tough.
And on top of that, it's going to put a lot of pressure on the Alexa series too.